Congratulations, everyone. Is Paul here yet?
No, I don't see him.
Okay. All right. So, as chair of the select board, due to the COVID-19, the coronavirus crisis, and in accordance with the Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12, pursuant to the executive order of 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are utilizing the Google Meets platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate during this meeting through the Google Meets platform, and the public has access to listen and, if necessary, participate in the meeting through dialing the following number: 1-574-221-0071, and the password is 8817739755 hashtag, or by clicking on the following website, meet.google.com/fxy-oisu-qwz. We previously gave notice to the public on how to access the meeting using Google Meets, and the instructions are provided on the town website at rollinsford.nh.us. If anybody has a problem, please call 534-1049 or email at admin@rollinsford.nh.us. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. Please note that all votes are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call. Let's start the meeting by taking the roll call attendance, and when each member states their presence, also please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required by the right to know law. All right, Miles.
Present and alone.
Paul is not here. Denise, present, and my husband Harry is with me. And Paul's not here. So, I guess we'll start, and hopefully Paul will pop in. You did text him, you said?
I did.
Well, I only see 7 people, and there's, oh, that's me. It's the 8th one, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so we have the highway is at 6. So we will, highway is George. So, go ahead, George. You block, you might, there you go.
Yeah, I'm on now. Did you want Ed to go first, or do you want to handle that PO first?
There are purchase orders for tonight if you want to handle them now, or if you want to handle them at the end of
after everything was done.
You can do them at the end of the meeting. You can do at the end of a department head's presentation. There are only a couple of them. He had one, I think.
Who had one? Ed or George?
George. I will.
I have C&J.
No, C&J is not. Let's hold off on C&J until we add the next vehicle. We'll have to update that.
Do you not want to approve the one just because the one was done?
Okay, that truck's done. You can do that PO if you want. Then we get one more truck. I didn't do the PO on it because I was going to do it next weekend.
That's okay. We can just do them one truck at a time if we need to. Okay, we also have Perrier guidelines. Is that
right? That's the scraping.
Okay. All right. Okay. So,
let's I'll move purchase order 1833 to C&J for $936.62.
2 cents.
Like 2 cents.
2 cents.
Yeah.
For inspection services of truck number 2.
All right, I'll second it. We can go into conversation. So I don't know because I've never done a truck that size. It looks high to me. Is it not high? I don't understand because it does look really high.
That's a full-size dump truck. They had issues taking the fuel filter off because it hasn't been done in several years, apparently. So it took a little bit more time to get that off and changed. And then they also had to change the hydraulic filter that hasn't been changed in the past inspections and oil changes at City of Dover. So there was a little bit more time spent on the vehicles. They found things and cleaned up things that, potential issues on this truck and the other truck. But that is not an ungodly amount of money. I mean, it's a little more than it would have been. The time they had to spend on it took a little bit more time.
So this is inspection and a service.
That's right. That's oil change,
two-
all the fluids on, you know, I mean,
Okay, gotcha.
it's not a car, it's hydraulic, everything.
Okay,
The brake adjustments, a little bit of, there was a small freon leak in the air conditioner. They took care of that also, so.
okay. Any other questions, Miles?
This is the older of the
That's the
Two
big
truck.
international, correct?
big one. Okay,
All right,
I'm good.
you're good? Okay, I'll take a, we'll close discussion and take a roll call vote. Miles
Yes.
and Denise, yes. All right, and the other one is for long line striping for $2,000, purchase order 1864 for Purrier Guidelines.
The reason why that's here tonight is I got a phone call from them this morning saying that they were in Berwick area. They won't come up here to just do ours. It's not worth it to them to come up and do it. So he was going to be in the area tomorrow night to do ours. That's why I wanted to get this done. If not, we won't be able to do it this year. So
I'll move purchase order 1864 to Poirier Guidelines for $2,000 for long line striping.
Okay, I'll second that. Opening it up for questions. Any questions, Miles?
What roads? This is Bear Road.
Bear Road, Foundry Street, Church Street, Clement Road, all the streets that we did in the past years.
Is this a guaranteed price?
That price, it's actually under that.
Okay, okay.
I brought it up a little high. It was $1,700 and some odd dollars in case he went over a little bit on, you know, he figures it at 10 cents a foot.
Okay. All right, any other questions, Miles?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, hearing none. Roll call vote, Miles
Yes.
and Denise, yes. Okay. So now we'll go to your budget. Oops, lost everyone. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're ready when you are, George.
What do you want to do? Go line for line?
Well,
Is that how you want to do this?
yeah, that's fine.
I mean, last year I didn't put any percentages in for raises. This year I just put 3% down. It's entirely, you know, again, it's entirely up to you people. And I add a 24-hour position to the part-time line to help out with projects, etc. Again, you know, I've just put those numbers out there. There is nothing else. Most of the other things have not increased, with the exception of cell phone, which was a little higher this year. So I brought it up to 1,000 just to cover it. For some reason, I don't know why that's going up. And also on the uniforms, if we hire another person, that may go up a little bit. So I just added 500 to that. I decreased the budget line for coal patch from 5,000 to 2,500, since we don't use very much coal patch anymore. And everything else is the same, pretty much.
Okay. Miles, do you have any comments?
What did we used to use cold patch on that we don't do
Sligo
anymore?
Road, we used a lot of coal patch on. And
Oh,
repair
yeah.
Yeah,
Most of the
that road,
right?
and yeah, there, you know, several other roads. But Sligo Road was a big user for coal patch, with the holes and stuff in that area. And we still use some in town in the wintertime, but those holes there, I'm going to try to cut out and patch in with hot top this summer so we can eliminate those issues too.
So, George, we know of some particular projects that may not get done this year. Are they in this budget here? Like more down by Foundry? Are those issues either going to be taken care of in this year's budget, or they
I'm
have to go in this?
I'm hoping they'll be able to do. I'm bringing a PO for the Foundry Street issue for the culvert so we don't have the flooding of that section of road by the pumping station. I'm bringing that to PO to the table next week.
Okay, is that the only project that you're aware of that we have discussed this year?
We have to wait until we get the camera in to figure out what the situation is by the Legion, which that probably won't happen this year. So
Okay.
that's, I don't know where we're gonna put that in, if that's gonna be under culverts and how much that's gonna cost until we get some numbers. So I didn't have any numbers for that.
Okay, all right.
Denise,
Yeah.
George also put a little bit of money in the building line for the lean-to.
That's
just
right,
wanted to point that out.
that's not on this paper.
Yeah.
What line is that? What line is that on?
Building
It's under
maintenance,
government buildings. He's requesting to go from $5,000 to $10,000.
yeah, that, I didn't have that on this paper, I'm sorry.
Where is it? I'm sorry.
There's a whole
Repairs and
header.
maintenance for the highway garage. It's under government buildings. So it's not on, so you'd find it on the big spreadsheet on probably
Page 3.
3, yeah.
Again, that particular $5,000 could be eliminated if we haven't done anything with equipment fund this year. We haven't bought no equipment and a few other things. I mean, I know you need other money for other things. So, I mean, that's something we could look at probably getting done during the winter months if we can do it with this budget without having to turn money back. But if you need the money, of course, it's all yours to use. So I just put that line in the next year's budget so we have it to do it next year if we can.
Okay, so the intention is for the money in this budget is for your lean-to.
If we can do it, that's
That is going to be on the side of your barn, right?
correct.
Okay. All right. Any questions, Miles?
So the 24-hour position would be just a highway person,
Right. Well,
right? They wouldn't be
it's
shared.
actually, I would hope to be able to use Gary from the transfer station. He's available now on extra days. And if there's a problem at the transfer station, somebody's out, we can move him over to that position as a fill-in. It doesn't have to be used every day. I just wanted them hours available, like when we're doing projects and doing stuff like, where we need the extra bodies.
What kind of projects are you projecting next year that you would need extra bodies?
Well, we're still going to do the shoulder work and stuff. I mean, we got some manholes that got to be dug up and repaired. There's all kinds of different things that we can be doing. It's just that we haven't done it with the lack, because of these other big projects we've had. We got shoulder work to do on other streets that are not part of paving projects that need some shoulders filled. So the extra people, the extra third person sometimes for traffic and stuff while we're doing these projects. Mike's not here every day. Sometimes he's here 1 or 2 days a week. So I'm trying to just have somebody we can fill in the blanks with.
I guess I didn't realize that Mike doesn't work a regular schedule.
No, Mike's full-time firefighter. Some days he can work 1 week. Some days he works 3 or 4 days.
He has a regular schedule, but it's based on what his schedule is at the
I
fire
gotcha.
station.
Okay. So he's not like,
pretty much know when he's coming in. It's just not the same every week.
Right, and then some weeks it changes to fill in it because he's got to fill in a shift, or like these last 2 weeks he's been doing interviewing. So, we're not
unexpected,
using them, so that money's not being used either. So it's
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, Miles?
I got one other thing that, looking at next year's projects, as far as ditch work, we may be able to take that 6,000 out of the rental line for this year. That's on equipment rental. We probably won't need to rent this excavator next summer because we won't have any ditch work to be doing. The road I hope to do is Jesse Doe, because that's the next worst road in town and the most traveled. So that's why there won't be no ditch work that needs to be done on Jesse Doe Road. It's just shoulder work and stuff after the fact.
What's the plan say that should be the next one to be worked on?
We have to go over that whole plan.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said Jesse Doe, because that's the next road that has to be completely redone. After that, it's overlays on a lot of, shim and overlays on a lot of the roads in town and revamping some of the roads. And that money should go quite a bit further when we're doing those. And also next year is to overlay Sligo the full distance.
Yeah, I was going to just say that Sligo is going to be a complete overlay from start to finish.
Right.
Because
I got figures. I just didn't have them in here, but it is it'll fit in that budget very well.
Okay. All right.
So you're proposing a complete reclamation of Jesse Doe?
After speaking to the tenants on that road, there was no gravel under that road either. That's why that road is, it's used what we have in the area when they were building these projects, unfortunately. Yep. And then you got the heaviest trucks on all those roads, the buses and all that. So it suggested that we put some gravel on that and get it built up and they're going to put 3.5 in the first layer. I think it's going to be about a total almost 5 inches of hot top on that road. And that's going to be a complete, the price I got for that for next year within this budget line, including Sligo Road, is under $300,000. And that price is going to be good for next year. And that's doing both layers on on Jesse Doe. That'll be finishing that road completely. There won't be nothing the next year. The year after that, we can start doing some of the downtown streets. I mean, we need to sit down all together and go over the roads that we want to be doing. But I decided to put this one in, and it doesn't have to be next year, but it's, like I said, it's the worst, the last bad road we had as far as complete overhaul.
Now, what do you mean by both layers?
They'll put the base coat in, and then later on in the year, do the second layer before winter.
Like the layer we're going to do at Woods Run this year. But I didn't think you were supposed to do it at the same time.
A lot of the time, you can do them both the same year. That's a choice. We can put it off. We don't have to, and we can do some overlays in town and then come back and do it the following year. They recommend that you let it settle a little bit because of settling and where they dug it all up. I mean, different contractors have different ideas, so it's the choice we can make. The reason why we didn't do both layers on these other projects right away is because we tried to get as many roads done as we could with the grinding and stuff. So, I mean, try to get more for our buck and the initial cost of it and try to, then. Because
the overlay is not as expensive as cutting it up and doing it from bottom. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it can be done. It just,
right. It's, it
likes to settle, but you could do it at a later time.
Right. They don't want you to wait more than 1 or 2 years to do the overlay because that's just a binder. And with the heavy traffic and stuff, and they said it can be done either way. A lot of roads are done both right off the bat because that's the way the towns choose it. We chose the extra route to get more bang for our buck as far as road construction.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you'll have better numbers for us on that, so we can see the whole picture, right?
I'm sorry I didn't have it tonight. I didn't. I got the numbers at the shop, so
that's okay. As long as we can see it the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I have it.
Okay. Anything else, Miles, for you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I don't see Paul yet, right?
No.
Huh. Okay. All right. So, I guess that's it for you, George. Any questions for us?
No, I tried to keep it as lean as as possible so we could go on. I know there's been issues, so I've tried to, I didn't want to increase anything on that we didn't need to.
Okay. So can we talk about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, like I said, the equipment rental line, that $6,000 can actually be moved and used for something else. So.
Or removed.
Or removed, correct.
Okay. 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 Can we talk about sidewalks a little bit down on Main Street?
We can.
So
we're here. We might as well.
You saw what I saw then? I did. See what's happening. So what can we do to stop this? The
mailbox thing is we'll have to pave a section of put another layer of hot top along the edge of the road to get the width of it. But I don't think it'll be an issue doing it. It's just a case like then it's not an issue where we put the swales. We don't need swales where they are driving over it now. But looks like, instead of them going out and coming back in at the mailbox, they're just driving along the grass. And I don't know how you're going to stop it. That's the mail department. And usually they're in with their foot on the brakes, pushing the gravel ahead. So if we pave it, it's probably one less thing that we'll have to keep fixing, I guess.
Well, that's what I think is that they're not gonna try to avoid it. I would assume so, and so it's a waste of time to loom it and seed it and keep up with it if it's going to constantly get damaged. So, but are you saying that at the beginning of that road you have almost like a curbing kind of thing?
That is a swale.
Oh, that's this. What?
We put a swale there to control the water flow.
Okay, that's the swale.
Yes.
That curbing type thing. Okay, so you're not recommending doing that.
No, I think we're just if we're gonna do it, we're just gonna pave it flat. So, so they have the width to land, put the car on it. We'll go right up to even with the mailbox. They shouldn't be any closer than that, or they're gonna be taking out the side of their vehicle. So.
Right. Okay, and so that would go all the way straight down to what Foundry, right?
It won't have to go all the way because there's no mailboxes beyond the Small's house. I don't think there's
That's
mailboxes.
right. Small doesn't have one. That's right. It stopped at the 2 duplexes.
There's 4 mailboxes, I think, that they're running on the lawn.
Okay. All right. So, do we have any more paving happening this year that we can get that taken care of?
Yes, we got to fix the first driveway. There's a puddle in it, so it's going to be fixed. And then we can do that shoulder at the same time, and then we're hoping to go right to Main Street right to Front Street on the sidewalks with the overlay with the remainder of the money we have.
So you're not going to dig them up. You're just going to
down through there.
them.
If we decide to dig them up, it's a major project because the curbings all have to be reset.
Oh,
And we can pave and level everything up and make it safer by paving over the curbing and
okay.
without having to do a major construction involving the state.
Okay. So that puddle, was that on one of them in the new section that you paved?
Yes, it's in the first driveway we got to.
I saw that day we had that huge rainstorm. Yep. I said there was water kind of lingering there.
There's so much water that runs down from Locust Street and down the side of the road from Mechanic Street. There's only one storm drain, and that's in the second driveway past it. So that water has to get down there, or else it would be washing out all the lawn and everything.
Okay.
So we put the swale to try to avoid that issue, but we got a little low on the driveway and we're going to fix that. So.
Okay. So at the same time, then Paul has joined us. So did he leave? No, he's still here. So that would be great. I think just finishing up so it looks decent, but not worrying about the grass and towards the road because it's just not going to work out. I'm afraid. So
yeah, we're going to have to we'll take that loom out and then put some gravel and have it paved in. Well, actually, we won't have to put in the gravel. It's already there. We'll just push the loom out of the way and grade it and pave that in.
Are you okay with that, Miles?
So you mean all of the loom between the sidewalk and the road?
No, just about 1.5 to 2 feet so the mail car can get up to the post.
Yep.
The mail truck was going across the loom and it was ruining and if you grassed it, it would just get ruined. Just the ones with the mailboxes, because there's some that don't have mailboxes on there, but it was at the beginning heading down towards town. It was just driven over.
Can we buy them a post office box? Yeah, I'm fine with that, Denise.
Okay, all right. Is Paul? You're muted if you want to come on.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
there he is. We can't see you either.
Huh. How about now?
Nope.
I don't know why that is. Right.
I see there's something in the corner. There's some light.
Like some door.
I think
door jam or something. I think his camera doesn't work well.
There we go.
You did it, Paul. That did it. There you go.
Now
we see you now.
Now I feel like I'm in a spotlight.
Okay. So we just had George's presentation. Did you have any questions on the paperwork that you received from George on his wants?
Nope.
Okay, okay.
Should let Paul know that George volunteered to remove $6,000 from the equipment rental line.
For the, what do you call it? The, backhoe or?
For the excavator that he
Excavator.
was using for ditching before paving, because that won't be needed next year.
Good.
Okay, so that kind of removes the whole line then.
Pretty much.
Well, I would suggest keeping the line open so that, and actually, I would suggest putting $1 in the line just so that
Yeah.
you can use it and
Use
move
it if
money around if
something
you had
happens.
to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that way it also keeps it on people's radar so that if it comes back the following year,
Yep.
then we can see the trend in the line.
Yep, that's a good idea. Okay. All right, that sounds good. Any other comments, George? Are you all
I
set?
don't, I'm open to suggestions and stuff, so.
Okay. All right, well, we will go down to the next one, which is Ed for the transfer station.
Good evening.
Good
Ed.
evening.
Well, I think you have the same, I don't know if you have the same copy that I have of my budget, or did Caroline put it into a different format for you, but
They have both.
okay, okay. Because what I have is just what I had typed up and sent in, so. I guess we'll start with the attendance side. I did not put an increase in there because I wasn't sure what you folks wanted to do. So if you do entertain the idea of up to a 3%, that would increase that $30,000 line by $916 in round numbers.
Why does this show as a negative, Caroline?
That's what I see from his proposal. Is there an error in that?
Oh, I
Okay.
don't have it shows a negative $2,696 on the attendance
Right,
line.
because he's got $30,524 proposed, and the previous year, column M, is $33,220. So he's actually decreasing the budget line by $2,700.
Right. Remember, Denise, we had a fourth person in there, and then we took that fourth person and spread that money out among the other
3.
three. But I don't think we didn't exhaust the whole amount. I think that
Okay,
explains the difference.
okay.
Yes, thank you.
And you're good with that, right, Ed?
Yeah, I've run these numbers 5 different ways, and
Okay,
I take what their hourly, what their hourly rate is. I take how many hours they work a week. I add just a little bit to it as far as the hours go to make sure we're covered. And that's what I come up with. But
okay,
like I say, that's without any raises. So
gotcha.
I took the 30,524 times 3%. It actually adds $915.72. And then of course the associated taxes as well.
Right.
So, that's the only line that may change if you want to entertain that. So
Okay.
I figured I'd do the opposite. I'd start low and then shoot for high. So
Better.
how it goes. I know what I did in my town here, and we didn't do any raises at all, but I'm hoping to do something later on. So anyway, put the other hat back on. So yes, and like in the attendance line, Paul Eames, everybody works, Paul Eames and Paul Martell, or I should say the 2 attendants, both work 16 hours a week. I added an extra hour a week to Martell's just for, snow removal and whatnot when he comes in and shovels around the place and cleans it up. And I added 4 more hours to Paul Eames because he does do more than another hour's worth in baling the aluminum and baling the plastic. And that covers all that. So,
Because you have to do it when it's not open.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to, we
Okay.
don't want to be doing any bailing when anybody's there.
Yep, yep.
The area that we do it in is plenty safe enough away from the public, but he's busy enough doing his regular duties.
Yep.
And where we don't have that fourth person, and it works out fine. I don't remember, I was gonna ask George, I don't remember in that 24 hours that we had for the part-time guy for highway, did that include or did it not include Gary's? That was over and above Gary's 6 hours on Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was just 24 hours added to that part-time line. It doesn't necessarily mean Gary can't work more than 24 hours.
Right, okay, yep, good. No, but I just want to make sure we didn't mess ourselves up there, so. So that's what I got for the attendant line. Like I say, the associated taxes will be adjusted accordingly. Everything else really on my budget is pretty much to the bone. I increased a couple of things. We have, we go way down, Lamprey Waste Co-op closing. They've gone up from 800 to 1,200 on that, so we had to increase that line. The hazardous waste day, I think I went up a little bit on, because that ran over last year.
Mhm.
The budget total is down. Let's see, down a couple $1,000s from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's with adding some things up, with raising a few things. But most of the decrease was in the labor, because I could see where that was headed, and I think that's going to be fine.
Okay.
When the budget was, the sheet that we had when it was done, I was under 50% used at the end of June. So, and like I say, running the numbers and running the hours and everything and the wages, I think we're okay. I know we're okay. So, and the same with the tipping fees and whatnot. Everything seems to be holding its own.
All right.
So
That's good news. All
Yeah.
right.
the only thing I put in, there's, hopefully on your sheet it says, I've got a special project I want to do. So now that I've given you, decreased my budget, now I'm looking to get a little bit of it back. The lower, I call it the lower control room. It's the lower compactor, the one that sits below grade. Be the one on the left-hand side when you pull up. That building that the compactor's in, that the controls are in, the steel floor under that is deteriorating quite bad. And the building just kind of sits on that. So, and the building itself was 2x4s and texture 111, and it's starting to show its age. So my thought is to take that little building right off of there. It's probably, how big is that now? 4 foot by 10 maybe. Replace it with a 6x10 building. Make it a little more aesthetic inside and out. And I believe we can do that for $3,000. So we can either,
Caroline,
I was gonna say, if it's left this year, we could do it, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get to it this year, the way the projects are at Highway, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that 3,000 in sanitation or is that government buildings, Caroline?
It's in the government buildings,
Okay.
right next to the highway lean-to.
Getting there.
So page 3 again.
See it.
Sorry, I shut myself off. I didn't hear the last thing you said. You're talking about that building and you're replacing the floor?
No,
Ed,
replace the whole little building.
it's blocked?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're replacing the whole little building?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The building is about
Yes, I can.
4 foot by 10 foot with a little shed roof on it. And the outside of it, the T111's getting pretty bad. And I mean, next time you're up there, just kind of take a peek at it. It's like I say, it's the one on the left-hand side when you go up. The other one's fine.
Yep.
So
Yep. Are you guys going to do the work?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can build the thing right inside the highway building and take it up and slide it in place. Basically, basically it's like a Lowry shed is kind of what, one of those pre-made sheds.
Yep.
But we can build it for a lot cheaper than what they could build it for. So anyway.
I lost him. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the only thing I had special to add in. And other than that, my budget's kind of what it is. So I think things
All
are
right.
going good and hopefully everybody's happy. So,
Paul and Miles, any questions?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Miles, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I'm just looking this over. So for tires, you still have 4,600. Year to date, we've spent about a little less than half of that. So we'll do another tire.
I probably won't do another tire round this year. We got rid of,
Okay.
I think it was close to 200 tires here about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I think we're going to be okay there. That, let's see, that also takes, we also have the appliances purged of Freon. That's good for
Mhm.
about $1,000. That has been done this year as well. The electronics, getting ready to ship another load of those out. So,
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So, have we noticed any improvements since we changed the stuff, electrical? That would just be the highway barn though. That has nothing to do with the transfer station, right?
as far as the lighting goes,
Yep.
we did change the lighting at the transfer station, but I don't see the electrical bills, so I don't know where that's changed because we added that other baler a couple of years ago, and that's gonna raise it a little bit probably, but
Where are the lights in the transfer station that you would be changing?
in
In the
the
huts?
cardboard building.
Oh, in the cardboard, that's right, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because it looks like the electricity, oh, that's the highway, the electricity is, wait a minute.
George and I were discussing that today, and we're trying to figure out why
So-
that would be.
I can tell you that the budget amount was lowered, and we lowered it based on what we thought it would be a good budget amount given what we were told about the LED project.
Yeah,
But clearly their electricity usage is not as much based on just lighting. I mean, the LED conversion was just for lighting, and they clearly use
Right.
other electricity, and so we just didn't quite hit the mark with the budget number. We went from 2,500 down to $926 for a budget figure. So we've spent all of that as of the end of July. So I suggested in the budget sheet that I filled out for you, that I emailed to you today, a budget figure of $2,000.
mhm.
So, increasing it back up somewhere, because while clearly there's a savings, there's not a savings of quite as much as we had projected.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay,
Any other questions for me?
Everything okay with the baler?
Yes, doing good. Yep.
There's one more thing. We put it at the at the highway garage. We also put a on and off automatic switch in the office now. That light shuts off. It doesn't stay on if we're not there. That used to be forgot sometimes. So that's just another add-on that we just done recently ourselves. They didn't do that with the project, because that was just a conversion of the lights in that particular office.
mm-hmm,
I couldn't understand why things have changed so much. I didn't realize that the budget was cut on the power. So, but other than that, I know we didn't do anything different. It should have been saving money instead of taking some,
yeah, yeah. But that was us thinking we're gonna have more savings, yeah,
Right.
okay.
And
All
I
right.
think on the fuel, the fuel for the highway department, I think what happened there is when they did the conversion from Billings to, they ended up paying for another full tank of gas, and I don't know if the previous tank of gas that was taken out of there was credited back to the highway department.
That's a really good idea, because, thank you, George, because we were credited for that fuel, but it was not credited back to the facilities that they came from. So Denise, that'll be important when you talk to the budget committee, because his heat line is already overexpended for the year, and we haven't even hit fall, winter heating season. So
Yeah,
that may
where did
very
we
well be
credit
why.
it? What did we credit it to?
I'm gonna have to ask Chuck. I'm not sure.
Okay, because before we meet with the budget committee, we might want to have that adjusted so it hits the right department, because the fire department should have it as well.
Well, yes, I'm not sure if Townsend broke it out in a way that we can break it out into departments. I'll have to ask. But the other thing
Okay.
is that it may be diesel. It may be that a diesel for road fuel got put in the heat line or something like that. So
Okay,
I'll see what's going on there.
okay, very good. All right,
Okay,
any other? Go ahead.
No, you're on mute, George.
You're on mute, George. Oh, did you say what?
Yep.
You're on mute.
I'm trying to take it off. I just figured I'd throw that in. I figured, we were talking about that, and I know we didn't do any changes, but I did think of the return on the gas that we should have had where we get charged another tank. So that may be the problem, a good part of the problem too. So
Okay,
I'm
Alright.
good with anything. So
all right. So you guys are all set. You can stay
you.
or you can
No.
go rest.
all right, have a
Whatever
good
you
night.
want.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Okay, so we're ahead of schedule. We can just go because Bob's here, right?
Sure.
Awesome. All right, Bob.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
Well, if you look at the numbers, I did not increase anything as far as equipment and other items. The only thing that went up this year were salaries. I proposed 2% for everyone across the board. The only line items that would be affected by the 2% in the salary would be myself and the full-time line item. The part-timers would still get a 2% increase. However, that would come directly out of the current existing number. Again, the long-term plan for the part-timers is to eventually start using less of their services. And the same goes with the animal control officer. Not knowing what COVID was going to do to the town this year, and especially probably next year, not knowing what the revenue is going to be, I tried to submit a budget that was as frugal as possible. We will, as a result of this budget, we will have no increase in any services, no increase in any programs. It just lets us remain status quo as we are today. So the bottom number has an overall increase of $13,119, and that's 2.3%. We also did get notified, I believe it was last week, that there's going to be a significant increase in the amount that the town has to pay for into the retirement system. So that's a good chunk of the change right there for the increase. So any questions on that portion of my proposal?
So when you're saying on the part-timers, are you looking to reduce them or just not use them?
Well, by giving them a 2% raise, that just means that we won't use them as many hours as we have this year. It'll be 2% less overall.
But how many of your part-timers actually work actively?
Well, this year, once COVID struck, we only allowed one part-time officer to work. Only as of 3 weeks ago have the other remaining four part-timers started working for us again. However, during COVID, they were required to do their online training, but nobody did any shift work because we wanted to eliminate the number of people coming in and out of the police department.
Okay.
Okay.
So everyone on your roster works something.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So any questions on the police part?
Paul or Miles?
So this retirement line reflects the increase that we're expecting, right?
That
Yes.
8% is the retirement. That's the information that Caroline had received, that it was going up. Correct, Caroline?
Yes,
Okay.
And that can't change.
Nope.
correct.
No.
Well, it's a factor. It's related to salary. So the only way to change it is to change the salaries because you can't change the contribution rate.
Got it.
So, but right now, this retirement dollar amount that's in here is based on his 2% increase?
It's based on the 2% increase and it reflects the change halfway through the year. So it is accurate for next
Okay.
year, according
Okay.
to his proposal and everything.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Good.
Animal control, no increase whatsoever. And again, the 2% increase for our animal control officer's salary just means that we have a few hours less per year for her to work. No change in emergency management whatsoever. Keep those numbers the same. And as far as the capital improvement plan, we're recommending $55,000. $25,000 of that is for the final lease for payment for one cruiser and the second lease payment for the newest cruiser, and $30,000 for the town hall police department surveillance upgrade. On September 2nd, I did call the vendor who currently does our phone system and part of our security system, and said the town would receive a savings if we did security and phone through the same vendor at the same time, because it'd be running the wires consecutively with each other. So that's food for thought as you discuss the CIP numbers.
Are they broken down separately?
Yes, $30,000 for up to $30,000 for the phone, up to $30,000 for surveillance.
Okay, thank you.
So the 30,000 for the surveillance is cameras?
For cameras and new software.
Okay.
But that's
The software and the memory is the big expense.
but that's for the town hall too, not just the police, right?
That is correct. That's for the town
For the
hall as
whole
well.
building.
The
Okay,
whole- yes.
So,
okay,
so
Got it.
we'll have Suzanne come and present the whole CIP, so that we can get the whole picture there.
yeah,
That's a good idea.
okay. Any other
That's all that I
questions?
have.
Okay. Any other questions, Paul or Miles?
No, it's pretty straightforward. Bob, do you have issues? Does the police department have no problem getting ammo? Do you have a special line to get ammo?
Yeah, we have no problem getting ammo at this point.
Or just because I know it's really slim pickings, and I was thinking that the police department must have a special line to get it or something like that for safety and public concern, right?
Right.
Okay.
The only time that we had difficulty getting ammo was when the Gulf War started. The two wars started, then because it all went to the military. But in the last 5 years, we haven't had an issue getting ammo.
Okay. And there's been no issues with the shooting range.
Not
No one's
since
complaining?
that last complaint before we installed the signs.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
All right,
The
thank
budget
you.
looks good to me. I'm okay so far with it. My questions have been answered. Denise. and
Okay.
Miles.
Good. I'm good. How about you, Miles?
Yeah, I'm good too. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Um,
Any select board business for the police?
do we have any select board business for the police in the folder, Caroline?
Not in the folder. So, no, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. I don't think so, Bob.
All right, folks. Well, have a good night then.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you. You too.
Take care.
Okay, so we have fire at 7:30.
Oh,
Right. So while we're waiting for them, there is another purchase order and a disbursement request if you wanted to do those now.
Yep, that's what we'll go ahead and go. We'll do it while we have a lull. We have Urban Tree Services, purchase order 1733 for tree removal on Newtown Cemetery that was blown into another and then hanging over the shed. So it's $1,100. Oh, it's up. Sorry, I was reading and not looking at it.
I'll move purchase order 1733 for $1,100 for Urban Tree.
And I will second that.
All right. Any discussion? And this
That's
comes out of,
what I talked about.
okay, this comes out of cemeteries funds, right, Caroline?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So hearing no questions, everyone ready for a roll call?
Yes.
Okay. So, Paul,
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
And Denise, yes. All right. Okay. I have a request for disbursement. Okay, there we go. And this is how the library operates, right, Caroline? They request disbursements randomly throughout the year from their budget, right?
Right. So
Okay.
payroll and rent are paid directly by the town, and very occasionally we'll pay for other invoices for them, but typically they manage their own money separately. So
Okay.
probably typically about twice a year they'll ask for a disbursement for that.
All righty.
I'll move that we approve the request for disbursement in the amount of $3,000 to the Rollinsford Public Library.
And I will second that.
Okay. Any discussion?
I have a question. So this is coming out of the taxpayer money or the library fund?
Kind of all of the above. So it's within the operating budget approved amount of money. So it's not extra and it's not unbudgeted.
Okay.
They do get their own donations and they spend their own donations throughout the year. This supplements that. So it's all, so this, because it's coming from the town, it's in the operating budget, it's taxpayer. It's
Okay.
taxpayer dollars.
All right.
Do they usually not break down? I mean, I see that the purpose shows the items, but they don't break it down further. Like
They
much?
don't typically, because it's really whatever they need to buy. It's just, whatever is budgeted. They're taking care of
Yep.
all the other budget lines. So think about this when they propose their budget to you. I'm hoping that'll be Monday night. They have several lines within their budget, but in the town's big overall operating budget, it's just one line. So like I said, we take care of the rent and salary portions through the town, but anything else that's in that budget such as for these things that they've outlined on this disbursement sheet, they pay for all of those things directly. So no, they don't typically outline them specifically. They just handle their own finances. They are audited. They are, when we are audited, they are also audited. So it's all, subject to the same process. It's just separate.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Ready to call the vote?
Yes.
Okay. Miles,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
and Denise, yes. All right. I'll sign this.
I need to step away for a moment to go find a
Okay.
tissue. Excuse me.
Okay. Go ahead.
There are only two?
Caroline, this Anderson installation, we already voted for that, didn't we?
Yes, they need that contract signed. So that doesn't need to go before the meeting. I just need
Okay.
you to sign it because it is
Okay,
already.
because we already did vote on it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the schedule for that?
They won't tell us until that's signed.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. It's signed. I want the no tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Me too.
Okay, we haven't done this one there, the health officer. That's our next, right?
No, actually, you did that at the last meeting. So
Oh, we
that
did?
also just needs your signature. And Paul, when you get a chance, there are currently 3, and tomorrow there will be a 4th document on the back table that need your signature.
Okay. I'll make it in tomorrow, Wednesday.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so just print my name and the signature. Do they have to sign it as well?
Yes, above your signature near the bottom on the left.
Where's my signature?
At the bottom, there's a signature flag tag on it.
Yep, there's 2 of them though. So
Yes,
one
I don't know
in the-
why there are 2. I guess because you only need a quorum of a board. That's really weird that you only need 2, but it says 2. And then
Okay.
above that is And then
Okay.
above that is where he would sign.
E as in,
Tom Clark. You see
Tom
all
Clark.
of his
Oh, I see.
information in that
okay,
area.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this other half have to be filled out as well? The
No,
Board-
I
the
don't think
Board of
so.
Selectmen? Okay, all right. So I'll just sign it because we've already voted on that.
Great, thank you.
And then the others have to sign it as well when they get a chance. All right, done. Okay. Lost my, okay, what's the next on the agenda? We're still, Mark should be coming soon, I would think.
I would think so.
We scheduled at 7:30, right?
Yeah, he's scheduled for 7:30. I will,
Why don't you give him 2803 is the fire station, 742-2803. See if he's there.
So I'm guessing this is unusual. You just about ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Well,
Very
it's
unusual.
easy when the budgets are relatively
funded.
flat.
Yeah,
True.
There aren't a whole lot of questions to ask, but
right.
yeah.
CIP will probably be a big one, huh?
yeah. Although for this year, I don't think there was really that many large. Yeah, there's a couple of things to talk about.
So, if any of you are interested, just today, there is confirmed a 1 o'clock call on Wednesday. Obviously that's short notice, but, the first settlement discussion between Green Mountain Power and Fish and Wildlife is Wednesday at 1.
And that, it has no idea how long it's gonna take, right?
Well, they've set aside 2 hours, but I would guess that there will be more than just this one meeting.
Okay, I can't commit to 2 hours,
Well,
unfortunately.
and I don't know that it would be 2 hours, and I think it's perfectly fine to be there and go away if that's what you need to do.
All right, you
I
can
just wanted
send
to
me
let you know
the,
it was happening,
you can send me the slot, I mean, the,
the invitation.
yep.
So Mark said he'll be along in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm on a meeting. I will. All right, bye. Okay. Okay, so you didn't get back from Mark?
I did. He said he would be along in a few minutes.
Okay. And is Mark, is he the one that's presenting for cemetery?
Yes, and he confirmed he was available for tonight.
I
Do
mean,
we
we
wanna-
probably could move him up as well.
Yeah, and
And town clerk.
or maybe have
Yeah.
Kate leapfrog Mark Kuchar.
Yeah, I think that's a
That
better
might be-
idea.
Kate's online now, so
Oh,
maybe
Kate's on.
after Mark, we can do Kate, and then by that time, we'll probably be
Yep.
there for cemetery.
All right, so
I'll
it's
be back in
7,
1
so
minute.
maybe we'll do Kate at 7:30 instead. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, she just popped in.
Okay, so
Oh.
Kate, the board is running early. Everything's gone faster, so we're waiting for Mark Rutherford right now for fire, but that should be pretty quick. And then you could go right after, maybe 7:20-ish or something.
That's fine. I have stuff to do. I'll just hang out until I hear you yell for me.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
I didn't think we'd get out early.
All right. So what else do we have to hear next week?
So we have town rec
Library.
and what was the library? Town
Library.
rec, library, and CIP.
Okay. And they're all next week?
Well, I'm still waiting for confirmations, but
Okay. We don't have anything else that you remember that we need to talk about for town-wise, right? I don't see anything else.
Talk about. Well, so let's talk about let's talk about COVID and the COVID policy. This morning we had a joint loss meeting, and I've informed the department heads about the COVID policy. And Sean Glidden raised a good point, which is not something currently in this draft policy, which is that if you are,
Can we mute Kate? Because I'm hearing something.
yes, I can.
Sorry.
It's
Staple
okay.
That's
heat.
Kate, I
okay.
took
We
care of it.
muted you. We muted you.
Yeah, I muted you. So
She just unmuted.
I know,
Okay.
I got it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So if you are working in a department where somebody is awaiting a test result, what does that mean for you? Or if you have a spouse who has a coworker who is infected or waiting for test results, what does that mean for you and coming to work? So Sean was expressing concern because he's aware of these things in the fire department, and there aren't really answers to these questions. So it's just something to think about. What is the expectation about if you are directly in proximity with somebody regularly who is waiting for a test result, or has a family member at home waiting for a test result, like what does that mean for you? So the question's out there.
But that's everyone, right?
It is
Like,
everyone.
my
Yeah.
spouse is getting tested every week. Do I not go to town hall anymore because I'm always waiting for a test result?
Well, and he didn't make this sound like a preventative thing like that. And I think if it's just sort of a preventative thing that your employer is requiring, that's one thing. And when it's because there's cause and concern, that
Okay.
might be
A known
another
exposure.
thing. Yeah.
It's more of a known exposure, I would say. I think if it's a known exposure and you're having a test because you've been exposed to somebody, that's different than just randomly testing. Because I'm sure there are many companies that are doing random testings, just to stay up on top of it. Isn't Navy Yard doing it, Paul? I don't know. I don't think he heard me. So, but I known exposures, I think that you should definitely be careful, and if we have to put it in writing, we should,
Mhm.
but just being proactive and those kind of things, I think that's not necessary to wait for a result. But then, of course, notification that you did become positive, then you react based on the notification.
Right. So I'll
I
be working on that. It's just, something to think about, that there are always going to be there's more guidance too from the Municipal Association to review about things to consider too. So I will get you a new draft to include that too. Oh, Paul.
Okay.
So I booted out and
We had
booted
two
back in.
polls.
Denise, I did hear you. We're pretty strict about
I'm gonna
testing people. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I have
Yep, I can now. Yep.
I have like 3 employees right now that are out for 14 days because they possibly came in contact with people that had COVID. So we're still being
Yeah.
really, really strict about it.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll maybe we'll try to get some verbiage on how to handle that kind of a situation. It's a good point, and we should definitely consider maybe revising it a little bit more. So, all right, Mark, there you go.
Hi, Mark.
You are on.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello?
I'm in, right?
You're in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Okay. So budget presentation is what we're here for, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And
Correct.
basically, if you haven't already heard, I think you probably got the information from Caroline and whatnot. As far as the fire department goes, we're looking to stay level funded for next year. No increases. The only thing that I asked for a partial increase in was for the building maintenance line under government buildings, because with all the changes that have been here, we found an awful lot of things that we want to take care of, but some of them will be taken care of by the guys themselves. So we just needed some funding for the supplies. We'll supply the manpower so we can save some money on those things. But as far as everything else goes within the fire department budget, just requesting level funding.
So it looks like a $2,000 increase, Mark, for.
That is correct. And some of that is
Okay.
when we upgraded the internet system here, when Sean did all that work, and then when we had the new heating system put in, we found that there's gross areas up in the attic that have 0 to none insulation. So we were looking to, we'll go out and spend a few $100, get the insulation, the batting and whatnot. We'll take care of that ourselves and re-insulate the ceiling. Now we got a new system and we can throw in some insulation. We can save some money on the heating bill and whatnot. So we're willing to take that on. There's some electrical upgrades. We took care of the immediate ones that we needed to when we were going through the heating upgrade, but there's still some others that we need to take care of. So those are some of the other reasons for that increased cost. So just, again, we're just looking to take care of the building before it continues to deteriorate.
It seemed to be a common occurrence that no buildings had insulation in the town of
Yeah.
Rollinsford. I'm not sure why.
Well, it's funny because when we was wiring up the new bay there, I know they were on a strict budget, and that's one of the things that they must have cut out because they're like nothing over there.
Nothing.
Nothing. So
Yeah.
for like $500-600, we can put 36 inches of insulation in there amongst ourselves, and we
Yeah.
can take care of that in some of the places, even in the old bay and whatnot. So that's
Yeah.
something us as a department is willing to take on, and that's one of the, like I said, again, one of the reasons why we asked for a little bit more funding there.
Yep. All right. Any questions, Paul or Miles?
So Mike, you all set with your, I know this has been an ongoing thing, but are you all set right now for radio communication?
For now, we are. Just to expand on that a little bit more, Paul, is when we were having the issues with the tank truck and needed to get it fixed, and I said I could find some money in my budget. One of the line items I shut off was the $15,000 under the radio equipment line item,
Right.
which
Yep.
was earmarked to purchase more portables, because we still need to get like 5 more. As of right now, we're okay. We ran into a couple of problems because we've been spending an awful lot of time in North Berwick on multiple alarm fires in the last couple of weeks. And we run short on the dual band radios, and that's what we were after. But we had enough to get by. We reappointed some of the ones that some of the officers have so that everybody had them. So we were able to take care of all of our communication issues. But again, if we get level funding next year, I can get right back on track with what our plan was. We just kind of had to stall it for 1 year.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, but as of right now, we're good. We got one of those radios that's down. We had it had receiver issues. The radio would not receive. It's been sent out for repairs, so that dropped us down one more. But we have a contingency plan, and we've got those taken care of, so we can meet all our needs for mutual aid.
Good. Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Miles?
Is your plan with the radios, so there's 15,000 in the budget, to just like constantly be replacing radios?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The dual band radio, most of the radios which we carry are single band. When we go to North Berwick, Sanford, Lebanon, they're on different frequencies. So we need to have a dual band type of radio.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 of them now. The 3 chiefs have one, and we have one which goes on the tanker truck, because that one, it sits right with the vehicle. So if that goes and one of the chiefs aren't here right away, they have radio communications with where they're going. Most of the time, one of the chiefs is here when we go out of town, so one of their radios goes with the vehicle that's leaving. Or 99% of the time, I'm usually around and I go, and I have the radios, and that radio is already taken care of in the command car, so we have that end of it covered. But we still need to get 3, because our ultimate goal is for the chiefs to have one, and to have one of these in the tank truck and in both of the engines for when they go.
Okay.
In case somebody's out of town, they don't show up, we come up short, we're going to marry one to each one of those equipment. So as of now, one of the chiefs does come in. Once we get to that, which will take another year to get to there, once we purchase them and get back on our regular plan for next year. But I thank you for the
Gotcha.
questions and concerns about communications, because that's like the biggest thing. If you ever have an issue or read anything that goes on within the fire service, it's communications is usually one of the biggest issues whenever there's a tragedy. So we're trying to stay one step ahead of that.
Good.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's it? No other questions?
Denise is
think
still
so.
working.
Uh-huh.
I'm good.
How about hoses? So we often raise the hose line. Are you good with hoses? Gonna
We
need to
lost
replace
one
them?
on one of the incidents we've been at.
Oh.
As of right now, we are still good with hose.
Good.
Okay.
We had been building up on some of that stuff because we had some stuff that was failing hose testing. So as of right now, we're still good. The PSAP field, it's a 50-foot length, a large diameter hose. We can cut that 10 feet off, recouple it. So instead of being 50 feet long, it's going to be 42 feet long.
Oh, great.
It's not that big a deal, but we can reuse it and still keep it in service. Or we cut them into smaller pieces that we have to use when we're dressing a fire hydrant or whatnot. So we still have use for it. But like everything else, just one piece of that yellow large diameter hose you may see laying in the street on any incident. One of those costs about $1,000 a length nowadays.
Wow.
So they don't give anything away. We've said that before. Anything with the fire service has that extra tag on it. So, but as of now, we've got 1,200 feet of that on each one of our fire engines. We don't carry that on the tank truck because it's unable to supply it because of the size of the pump, and we still have 4 links in reserve.
Okay.
I'd put more on them, but only because of that. I got to keep a little in reserve just for various reasons. But 1,200 feet is usually pretty sufficient.
Okay.
So,
Great.
off a budget, onto your department business. What's the status on the forestry?
Forestry right now, the new one
Mm-hmm.
is down at two-way, having the graphics and the radio put in. They took the radio out of the old one, and it's gone into the new one, and they're doing all the graphics.
Okay.
That will be done, supposed to be done today, but we all know how this stuff works. It will be done tomorrow at noontime. The truck is going to come here. We've stripped the old forestry. The slip-in pump unit is going to be removed from the old one tomorrow and put into the new one. And then the new one is being driven down to Massachusetts with the company we've contracted to do all the lighting. That will go down there tomorrow, and it will return Friday, and we should be able to pretty much have our new forestry in service by the weekend.
So that means the old forestry will be available to do whatever needs to be done.
Whatever you guys want to do with it, it's all yours.
So I got a quick question for you, Mark. Do you use the plow on the old forestry truck?
Do we use it?
Yeah.
We do. A lot of times during snowstorms, the town, when they're out taking care of the roads, they can't keep up if it's a bigger storm with the fire station itself. So we'll plow out the fire station and keep ourselves able to get in and get out, because usually we'll have a crew on if it's going to have one of those large snowstorms. But the other thing we do with our plow is we'll have it, if we have to go to a medical aid or something someplace, we'll usually send that with an engine or a utility for the medical aid, because most of the time in the middle of the storm, driveways aren't open. There's windrows at the end of the driveway, and personnel can't get to these individuals' homes. So we may pop open a driveway, pop open the end of the driveway, just so we can get there and make it easier for our folks to do what we need to do on the call.
Got it.
So it's used for that.
So are you planning on using the plow in the old forestry truck for the new forestry truck?
The old forestry truck, when it leaves here, leaves with the old plow, so it's going to have a plow attached to it.
They got a new plow with the truck.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have a plow with the old truck. The new
Yeah.
one came with a new plow.
Yeah.
Good. That's
So
I
when
guess
we're
we could've
done,
got that
we'll
for us.
tap
Thank you.
we'll hook it all up and send it down to the town shed, and it'll be down there for whatever
it.
needs you seed for.
okay. I guess I should have asked that question first. Did you got a new plow with the new truck?
It came with the new plow. Yes, it did.
Yeah, good.
And then kind of one step further on that, Denise. So that's the schedule with the forestry. Hopefully in a couple of weeks. Well, the other thing that's an issue too right now is the fact that as of today, there's no outdoor burning. The state raised the level of wildland fire to high, and if it stays like this by the end of the week, it could go another level higher. So having the forestry is kind of important. We're gonna make up with it with an engine company if we need to go for any kind of forestry incidents. Just the way the weather was today, dry, windy. We all know what conditions are as far as the drought goes. It ain't getting any better. So that's why, this quick turnaround in the forestry is kind of important.
Yep, got it. Okay,
And one step further with that, Denise, is the tank truck leaves a week from today. It'll be
Because
out of
it's big?
service for 1 week. It's going up to Scarborough or wherever the heck it is up there in Maine. They're gonna put a new tank on it, the new pump's going on it, everything. So they're gonna have all the valves rebuilt. So basically when that truck comes back, it's gonna be brand new from the cab back.
yeah.
And that should be taken care of in 1 week's time also.
And the only thing we're paying for is the pump, and the tank itself is no charge.
100% warranted, no charge at all. We're paying
Okay.
for the new pump, the rebuilding of the valves and whatnot on board, and that's all that we're responsible for.
Very good.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions, Miles or Paul?
I'm good.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Any other business from you?
Not tonight. No, I don't have
POs?
anything. Like I
Okay.
said, we've kind of put things on hold here. Our vehicles have been out getting inspected. All of them have been inspected except for engine one, which is going to go Thursday. They've all passed inspection. We took them to Dover, so all our trucks they got serviced and inspected, so they're all running very well. Engine one, as I said, goes Thursday, so that should get taken care of. And the tank truck, when it leaves, they're going to do that for us up there. So
Oh,
that's really the
good.
last big thing that we had to do. Well, I'm just glad with that because I didn't have to face any unforeseen, surprises like, oh, you need brake linings or you need tires or you need this or
Yeah.
you need that. So we didn't have to take anything else out of the repair line. So there'll be a little extra funding sitting there that I'm sure we'll find something for it.
Okay. So did George talk to you about inspections and stuff?
As far as using a different vendor,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. So
Yep. I'm going to talk to that other vendor and find out because I want to make sure exactly what the parameters are because sometimes I know they can't take care of pumps on fire trucks or something that's an entirely different animal. But as far as them being able to do some of the other service, but I want to find out how far they can go and what they can do. And if they can match what we're doing now, then there's no reason not to go there. I just want to have that conversation with a couple of folks before I make a commitment. But he did talk to me about it.
does the city of Dover do the pumping stuff for you?
Minimal stuff. That's
Minimal.
why they can do a little, but they're not the certified group that should be doing it. That's why earlier in the year when we had the problems with engine one and I brought in a certified pump repair company, that's who we're going to stay with. We're
Mhm.
going to have the engines pump tested in conjunction with Somersworth Fire Department on the 19th of October. And it's the same company, the W.S. Perkins company is who we're going to be using now, just because they have the expertise to do what we need to have done. And it's good to have somebody like that on hand, because if we'd had problems with our pumps before, we'd have been scrambling to find a vendor. Now we're all set. We're within their program so that we can get things taken care of.
Okay. I think you're going to be going somewhere, so we'll talk to you later.
Who's going somewhere?
Maybe you in a few minutes.
What are you hearing that I ain't?
York ambulance coming around for
All right. See, look at that.
All
You got
right.
everything playing in the background. You know we are all the time.
always know where you
All
are.
I know is on Labor Day, we left at 1:06 and went to North Burke and came home at 10:02.
I know.
Yeah, that was a long
That was a
day.
long day.
Very long day. So, but we've been having a lot of those. So that's what we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. That was a horrible fire
Yes, it
and a
was.
long day. So
$1 million loss.
Wow.
wow, really?
Easily.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God.
There was 3
Wow.
cars in the basement, a boat, over 1,000 gallons of oil in a couple of different tanks.
Oh,
Just the structure itself, it was a timber framed with the metal support structure, and the inside was super immaculate. So
oh
Yeah.
wow.
yeah, it was
Wow.
it was quite a place, but
Mm.
no more.
Oh.
No more.
Okay.
Everybody
Thank
else set
God.
with me?
I am.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Have a
Mike.
good night.
Thank you. You all take care.
You too,
All righty.
sir.
Bye-bye. Okay. So now I guess we'll have Kate go on now, right? Because does he call in or does he come online?
He comes online.
Oh, okay. All right. but we're still way early.
Yeah, you're
So-
still way early. Yep.
All right, we'll let Kate go on, and then we'll wait for some cemetery to come afterwards. All right. Okay, Kate, go ahead.
Well, I'm hoping it went quick because nobody's asking for anything.
That's correct.
So good. Maybe the town clerk can have something this year. So you've seen my budget, and I'll just open it up for questions.
No question? Hold on a sec.
I realize it's higher than I've done previously, but I haven't asked for much in the past few years, other than the voting machine and a dog program. And I'm
So-
hoping you all had a chance to see the email blast that I sent out. That I've had over 100 responses. I am pretty much the only clerk working without a deputy. So I hope that you were able to scan through those.
I did. I saw a lot with and without deputies.
You saw some without?
About a
I-
dozen.
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
maybe
about
six.
half of them. Yeah,
There's quite a
Half?
few without them. Yeah.
yeah.
Not half, but I don't know. There's quite a few without deputies.
There was a lot without deputies.
Oh, I'll go back through it. The one that I saw, I sent her an email and they're hiring. She had lost her deputy.
There was a lot without deputies.
I'll go
Um,
through it again.
You must have had about 30 replies from people.
30, I had 100 responses.
Oh, okay. I saw about
Did
30.
we get all 100 of them though?
No,
Did
they
we
still
get-
coming in.
Oh,
No,
okay.
but what you sent to us is how many more came after that?
Well, I thought I sent you guys about 70 when I was at 77.
I don't have it. I didn't print it.
I can print it out and count it.
No, that's okay. I don't need you to do that.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so why don't you go through it and justify your requests?
Well, it starts with 500 per election. I don't know if you've seen my timestamp for the past couple of weeks or months leading up to the election, but I hope that you realize that it doesn't end on the day of election. The cleanup afterwards, and then on Friday, when I thought the dust had settled, the state called and they were having a recount. So I had to get all my ballots and all my paperwork together for them to pick up. And then we had reports due to the state, and the supervisors met on Saturday to scan the book and for us to get the moderators' worksheets done. So even though you think the election's over, the hours are still rolling for that one. And we'll get a little bit of reprieve until the November one. So if you take a look at my hours, I think if you divide it out, what I'm currently getting as a stipend is, you know, I don't know, I'd have to do the math, but I could let you know what it is.
Is it not
Did
300?
you keep? What's that?
Sorry, what?
I thought the stipend was 300. And you're looking for 500, right?
You know, I thought it was too, but my sheet says 200, doesn't it, on here?
I thought it was 300 as well.
I did
Yeah,
too.
you-
It is 300. So I'm not looking at what Kate submitted right now, but her request is in the spreadsheet correctly. And so 200 is what it was listed prior to this year when there was one election. And then this year is the first year that it's $300 times 4 elections. So the line says $1,200.
Okay, so the
budget.
budget's right. This is not right. Okay. So
Right.
she's looking for a $200 increase per election, but next year there's only one election.
Yeah.
Right. And
Okay,
I don't, some of you weren't on as selectmen, but on the budget committee that I think this is my 3rd year in a row that I have requested that. Either more hours and the 500 or both. But now, as I told Caroline, I wouldn't need more hours if I had a deputy, even 12 hours a week. Which,
So- you have Chuck up to 10 hours a week. So why do you need a deputy on top of Chuck?
because Chuck if you read the description of what a town clerk does,
I have.
Chuck is not willing to learn all of that. Chuck and I had a discussion about, is he willing to learn everything on all of my duties in his 10 hours a week?
Well, his direction was to help you with motor vehicle.
Right,
That was his direction.
right. But there is a lot more than just motor vehicles. And what Chuck is doing to help me, which is incredibly helpful, is he's doing the renewals.
Mhm.
In auto registration, I have to prepare every month the following month's renewal letters that go out. I have to maintain reports every day. I have to deposit 3 times a week. I'm audited. I have inventory I have to follow. It's not, it's a bigger responsibility. And I can train Chuck, but ideally, I'm not comfortable being only 20 hours a week, the only one in this town office. It's too much. I mean, I just can't understand why, the highway department can have up to 4 people and Carolyn's office can have 3 and the police and fire, but why this office is continuously restricted to the 20 hours? It's too much.
Well, you're asking for 25.
No, I didn't. I backed that out because I said,
Well, I don't have a new one then.
if I could get the 20 hours, if I could get the 10 hours that Chuck is giving me, and I backed down mine for the 3 to 5 I've been asking for 3 years, if I had somebody 12 hours a week, then I wouldn't need that.
So you're saying that Chuck's 10 and another 12 is what you need?
No.
No, but
I'm
you're
saying Chuck's
circle.
10.
All right. So Chuck is giving you up to 10 hours a week.
Yeah, so if we take
Why
those
he-
10 hours and I don't get the additional 3 to 5 that I've been asking for, there's 13 to 15 hours. I would like somebody 12 hours a week. Most importantly, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when Chuck is not in this office. So to have somebody trained that's available and can work 5 days a week. And I can't understand what the pushback is. This office has always had 2 people.
But what did the tax collector do for hours every day that says you need to have that today?
Every day, whether it was phone calls, people walking up to the counter, dump sales, deposits, just to even look at somebody's paperwork who's waiting in line 3 or 4 people back to see if they have the right paperwork before they get to my window and something's missing. I can't break it down in hours, but it's a constant help.
But you're asking us for a certain amount of hours where you're already getting up to 10. I don't think that the tax collector gave you 10 or more hours previously. So
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that when we worked hand in hand for, the same hours. No, I couldn't say that. I mean, there's different times a year where, Andrea always took the dogs for me and the dump stickers and, because I'm at the window doing the autos. There's more than just one thing that goes on at a time. She can hand people applications for marriage certificates or copies of a marriage license or death, birth, it's.
See, I'm trying to figure it out a little bit too, Kate, because Andrea works 16 hours a week. And if you're saying she could help you out 8 to 10 hours a week, that means that was more hours she was helping you than actually doing tax collecting. And I don't.
There were times when there's not taxes that she was. Those were times I would take time off and she would be working the window completely.
okay. Miles, do you have anything? Miles? No?
Sorry, I was coming off mute. No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the budget is this different anywhere else? I'm looking at the one that was sent to us
It is.
a
I
while
have
ago.
put in for the clerk program, I currently have the dog program, but I can advance that into a motor vehicle program, which allows people to do dogs, motor vehicles, even possibly transfer stations online, stickers.
Kate, you have in your budget the 895, which is the annual renewal amount for both of those programs. Is there an update on the upfront expense of getting that motor vehicle program? Because I don't see that in your budget, which means I think you're planning that for this year. Is that right?
No, so it's only like $300 for my upgrade, the programming each year.
Well,
Right.
right, but that's, it costs about $8,000 for the motor vehicle registration program, and then,
Right.
it's a few $100s. You budgeted in Town Clerk Info Systems the annual amount to keep the program running, but there's an $8,000 expense to that program, and I'm wondering, it doesn't look like that's budgeted for next year. So does that mean that you're intending to do that this year?
No, next year, but I thought I had it in here. Do you have what I originally sent? Because that was in the original one.
The original one says 895.
Okay, I thought so. 895 or 8,000?
895,
$895.
which is just the annual amount for dogs and motor vehicles.
Oh, no, then that's an error. No, I thought I had a
Well,
purchase order.
there's vital records and payments to state, that's 1,500, but
No,
no, no, it's just 895. That says dog program and LHS maintenance, auto dogs, vital and transfer station passes online. 895.
okay.
So-
Well,
Did you want me to add that, Kate?
I think it's missing a zero.
That's a big zero.
I think it's
That's a
8,000.
big zero, yeah.
I wish it was 875, but it's not.
So it's not in this, Caroline, that you put.
Right, but I've made that
Yeah,
correction, so
895,
I'll send you
yeah.
a new version that will include that and George's change that he made as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the emails you read, but a lot of the clerks noted that most of what they were doing was, through a Dropbox or online. Who knows how long this could continue, but I think people would appreciate having the online service. Because I think even when COVID's over, people are going to be used to doing things remotely.
Okay. So can you skipped over your salary line. Can you justify the 15% increase?
I swear, this is a little different than, what is that, Carolyn? I didn't ask for 15.
So Denise, that happened in an email exchange, and that paper was never updated, but through an email exchange that the board was copied on, Kate was looking into the deputy town clerk position, and when she made her proposal for the deputy town clerk, which is in the spreadsheet, the master spreadsheet with all the departments, when she made that proposal, she subtracted her salary increase at the same time. She said that if she got the deputy, she wouldn't need the extra hours to her salary. So her salary in the spreadsheet is currently flatlined or level funded for next year.
Okay, so the 15% is the additional 5 hours a week. That
Well,
was
but you
on that.
removed that. There is no increase at all in her salary line.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, not trying to make it confusing. I'm trying to make it so that we can have backup. We can have somebody and the other thing is it's a benefit to the town that I train somebody and train them properly as a deputy. I keep stressing to you that it's not smart on the town's behalf to not have somebody who knows what I do and not just what Chuck is doing for me on Monday and Fridays. Somebody should know 5 days a week what's being done.
Are you not using Chuck on Tuesdays?
Not much, because he leaves usually about 4:30. I come in at 3. And it tends to be busiest Tuesday and Thursday from 5 to 7.
Okay, any other questions for the town clerk?
I'm good.
Paul?
I can't think of any right now. I'm trying to figure out the $8,750. That was for we're talking about getting online service. Is that
Yeah, we
right?
currently have a company called Interwear that we do dogs with. And they offer, it's kind of a la carte. You can add to it as much as or as little as you want. But by adding cars, it would allow people to be able to renew online. Obviously, new cars, they still have to come in. But they could renew their dogs and autos online. And Chuck was telling me in his community, the way that they do it is you do it with checks. So there's not the 3% increase that there is with credit cards.
Right.
And I think, people would be receptive to that.
So if you're looking for software to have people do the registrations for their cars, why do you need more hours for a town, an assistant or whatever you want to call it?
It's a
'Cause that's
deputy.
going to be reduced. That's going to reduce the workload.
No,
for
it
your
doesn't reduce it. I still have to do the autos. I still have to print the report and generate the autos. It's just a benefit to the public to be able to do it online.
So you don't. Okay, so if this is done online, the person doesn't have to come into the office and do the paperwork and pay you. It's all that's taken care of. So that how many more
No.
hours would it take for an individual for you to
No,
process?
we still do. The only thing we don't do is have it come through the Dropbox or through the mail. The process is the same. We still have to collect the payment. We still have to process the registration, mail it out. That it doesn't happen from an outside vendor.
You still have to do that part of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're
it's
just going in and paying it online, but they're not finished.
Correct.
Then you have to do something and then you have to send it.
Correct.
Okay, that's not clear. So make sure when you present to the budget committee that gets clear.
Okay.
Because to me, you're reducing hours by doing this and it's not.
No, I don't think it reduces hours. It's probably about the same between the bookkeeping end of it and the town clerk. It's a convenience that people have been asking for.
But it's less bank trips.
No,
You don't have the
because-
money.
No, unfortunately, you still have people who aren't going to do it online.
Yeah.
And I do still get cash for everything else and checks. So,
Caroline, was this one of the things that the CARES Act money might have paid for?
Yes, the board received a purchase order for this months ago when Kate and Suzanne and I participated in a demo of this program, and then it never went anywhere and we didn't do anything. But if we can get on board with it and have it installed and paid for by October 15th, then it can still qualify for CARES Act funds.
and the reason
And that would take care of it.
we didn't pursue it is it wasn't a really good sell that they showed us on that particular demonstration. And as I've told Caroline since then, the director from the DMV has joined Interwear, and he has improved it to the point where it's just so much simpler and more user friendly. And it's also an a la carte that we can add on, building permits and dump stickers, and people can apply for marriage, deaths, and births online. We can continue to build on it. So, and he is the director who's now with Interwear. He's just made it a great deal better.
Interesting.
Okay. Any other questions for Kate? Paul
I'm good.
or
Nope.
Miles?
I'm good, thank you.
Kate, anything else you want to present?
Nope, that should be it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Kate.
Bye.
Good night.
Night. I see Mark's here.
Hey, Mark. You gotta unmute yourself.
Go figure it out.
Mark's an old pro at this by now. He's been attending planning board meetings and all kinds of stuff. All right, so
There you go.
Hey,
There we go. Okay.
hi Mark.
Okay.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Mark. Good, thanks. So when you're ready, we're ready for you.
Okay, all my budget, I turned it into Caroline, and it's actually $250 over last year's, and the reason for that is the guy Paul Janatus that does our landscaping, he wanted more money this year, and actually quite a bit more, and I told him that we'd have to. He was asking for like $500 and something dollars, and I said, that was way out of line because we're trying to keep the budget the same, and so he came up with $250 to add to the cleanup, the fall and spring cleanup. I think it's mostly the fall cleanup. So I talked it over with the other trustees, and we decided to go with the $250, seeing he's been doing a real good job for us, and I'd like to continue to work with him. So that's about it as far as the total budget. It'd be $19,050. Last year's was $18,800. I believe. Are the water bills the same, Caroline, as last year?
Oh, no.
we're going to be getting a special assessment. Everybody in the water and sewer district will be getting special assessments probably for the next two billings of this year. I don't know if the commissioners have voted on that yet. So they're still trying to figure out what any kind of increase is going to be. They're budget planning too. So I think they're definitely talking about it. I don't think they've decided exactly on what's going to happen.
Right. Well, I've got us in there for $200. It's usually $166. So hopefully that'll cover that.
That give you a little more accuracy.
Well, I would assume once we know what the water rates are going to be, we can just automatically increase the water bills for each layer of the budgets anyway, right? I mean,
Assuming
have
we
to
can
take
find
care of
out
it.
in time. It depends
Yeah.
on when they make that decision.
yeah, but we could probably definitely take care of increasing based on what the actions are.
This year, we stayed within the budget, and I've got one more purchase about actually the bills are not all in yet for the mowing and trimming, but so we should be within our budget there.
Mark, you're happy with the people that mow, right?
What's that?
You're happy with the people that are mowing?
Yeah, we're very happy. I'll tell you, it's made my job a lot easier. In fact, he's doing a great job.
Good.
I don't think it's looked this good in years. I mean, he's done a fantastic job across the board.
Yeah,
I'm very pleased as well.
Yeah, and I don't have to tell him, and he goes and does it when he thinks it's ready, and it's been good.
Yeah.
Well, and we've had a lot of compliments like you just told us.
Yeah, but it really looks good.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, we approved your tree one tonight, the PO for your tree removal.
Okay, that was that trees. It's hung up there. I don't think it's going anywhere, but it'll be good to take it out of there in case it does come down and it'll end up on the shed, you know.
Yeah, we approved it tonight, so you can talk to Caroline tomorrow.
I don't know if that tree was on cemetery property or town property. It was pretty close, but
Mm-hmm.
nevertheless, we had the money in the budget for tree trimming, which we didn't use this year. So
Okay.
figured we'd get that taken care of.
Okay.
Cool. Do you have any questions or?
Any questions, Miles?
No, I'm good.
Paul?
No, I'm pretty good. Everything's going good, Mark. You say the new part where you're putting the urns in, is everything fine there too? You know that new area you got?
Oh,
where
the cremation area?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been selling some lots there, and we haven't sold too many, but a lot of people have been looking at different lots, you know, and so that's been going all right.
Good.
The only thing I wanted to do this year was I wanted to get a plan made out for that field area fronting on Silver Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I called a couple of engineers that, you know, I'd like to have it laid out on paper. So, you know, when we do run out of lots, the 2 grave lots and stuff, we can move over there. So I wanted to get it all laid out on paper and start putting some money away to have that done. I'm not sure. So I ended up calling like 3 engineering companies, and the people I talked to said, "Oh, okay, I'll have somebody get back to you." And nobody's. I mean, they're so busy, you know, and nobody's got back to us. So I kind of put it off this year. So and actually, the lady did get back to me last week, and I tried to call her back, and I haven't been able to touch bases with her, but I'm going to at least, you know, get a price on how much it's going to cost for another year, and we can start putting some money away for that.
Okay.
Mark, could you, before you actually pay for that, or before you get done with that, the surveying of that land, it might be helpful for this, what you're doing, it plays into the assessing problem, the mapping problem that we have in the cemetery, where when you look at the town map, it looks like it's all one cemetery between
St. Michael's and St.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're going to hire a surveyor anyway, it might make sense to expand the project so we can really figure out, like, what are the boundaries of the cemetery so that we can get the map right. But I don't know if that's the right approach, but let me know who you go with. And
right. Okay. Yeah.
the other thing to know about surveying companies.
It's probably not going to happen this year. I'm sure it's not going to happen this year, but at least I can get some pricing anyways, you know.
Pricing is good, but if you're aware of who the surveyor was that did the General Sullivan subdivision, or if you're aware of the Terrians on Silver Street, they abut the cemetery, and they subdivided a couple of years, last year, I think. So when you hire a surveyor, if you hire somebody who has already done research to one of the abutting properties, it should decrease your costs, because that's less work that they should have to do for you.
Yeah.
So
what I'll do is I'll check back and see who Terrian used, and maybe that's a good one to check with.
And that should be in the planning board folder on the website.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right. I'll do that then. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. All right. Are we all set then?
I think we are. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you,
Mark.
Okay. Have a good night.
Good night. Yeah.
Good night, Mark.
Yeah.
All right. I move we adjourn.
All right. Paul, you going to second it?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay.
But
Roll
I don't know
call.
if you guys had. I'm not prepared to like discuss anything that we were presented tonight. So I
No.
No.
just
no.
feel like we're ready to
Yep, no, and we've got all the other stuff that we had to get done, so we're good.
But we do
Okay,
have a
so-
meeting Thursday.
We have a meeting next Monday as well.
We have a meeting tomorrow night with the town clerk and the moderator to discuss election recap stuff.
Right,
Yep.
but that's not the decision making.
So
That's
that's
just
not about
recapping.
budget. I just don't
Yeah.
want you forgetting about that.
Yep,
So-
yep,
And
Six.
Busy
Okay.
meeting week.
I'll look at it. Okay. All
yep.
right, got it.
Okay,
Awesome.
so
All right.
motion's been made and seconded, and I'll do a roll call. Miles,
yes.
Paul,
Yes.
and Denise, yes. Okay, we're adjourned.
Okay.
Thank
Talk to
you.
tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Have a good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.